This episode is brought to you with the support of patrons of the Jessa channel, like Mist. Thanks, Mist. Join the party at patreon.com/the Jessa channel. Hey there, you're watching the Jessa channel on YouTube. I'm Jessa, and this is a review for Wintermoor Tactics Club. Wintermoor Tactics Club is, I believe, the very first game from EVC Games, and it was published by Versus Evil. And I picked this game because it was so cute and so charming, and it was my first foray on the channel into the visual novel territory. So it was a really cute game. Not without its flaws, though. Not without its flaws. So I am going to, as always, as I always do in my reviews, I'm going to put up here the thumbnails for this series as I talk about it. Wintermoor Tactics Club stars Alicia, who is here on the left. And I always want to bring diversity in the characters that I play on the game and in the games that we play here on the Jessa channel. So I was really drawn to the fact that Alicia is a Black student, in that there was also a lot of other representation in the game as well too. Not just with Black people, but Asian people and Hispanic people, and there was an equal mix between male and female in the story. On the screen now we have Colin, and Colin is the Catacombs master for a game which the characters play called Curses and Catacombs, which is a play on D&D. And because I am a role player and I love tabletop gaming, I always have, and I do a lot of role play games here on the channel, this was a real natural fit for me. The story is that they are attending Wintermoor Academy, which is in upstate New York in the 1980s. And on the screen there is Jacob. He was a great character. And the Principal Enfield, wants them, all of the clubs, it's a war of the clubs. And so for reasons that are not revealed until the end, he has the clubs battle each other to the death, so to speak, at least the death of their club, with a snowball fight. And so the clubs begin to eliminate each other, and there is Alicia. Each character in the Tactics Club that Alicia is in has their own role play character, and this is Alicia's wizard. And so it was a really cute concept. Basically, the snowball war, this war of the clubs, and the story overall was quite good, actually. It was interesting. It was unique. It makes me wonder about the minds of the folks at EVC, that they're sitting around like, okay, we are all like, many of us are escaped AAA developers, or have worked at companies like that, and we are on our own now. And what do we want to do? Let's make a game about a snowball war and how, and like it's kind of got D&D in it, and it's just, they really were quite clever in what they came up with for a game. As far as the graphics of the game, you can see it here with the thumbnails. It's an isometric game, and I was actually pretty impressed with the animation, with the way characters moved through the game. And the static backgrounds didn't take away from the game really at all, in my opinion. They were nicely done and very simple. I mean, it's not. Sometimes I really, to be honest, got the feeling I was playing like Scooby-Doo the game, basically. So it's very simple backgrounds, and the focus is more on the characters and what they bring to the story. This is Alicia's room that we're looking at here, and The game is also, it's like a mashup between visual novel and point and click and RPG light, basically. So you could like point and click on certain things in the game, and there's like a little simple puzzle of Alicia needing to find her tactics club notes or something like that here at the beginning in her room. Where the game shines, I think, is in the personalities of the students, some of which are going to stick with me. Like this guy here in the top here with the hat on in the behind the scenes, he didn't have much in the game. He's a background character, but I still remember him. It was pretty funny. And also the concepts of the games of the different clubs and the Monarchy Club, and like there was the psychic detectives. It was so cute. It was really funny. And also there was a point in the game, and this is the point that I got to that won me over for bringing the game to the channel, where you get to draw what Spirit Week means to you. And I'm gonna say I got to draw Edna, and Edna the horse is a thing of galloping beauty. I mean, she's just beautiful, man. She's just beautiful. It is pure, absolute art of the finest quality. And you'd be laughing if you could see a picture of Edna right now, because it was the worst drawing ever. And I put it up on Twitter, and EVC and had a good time laughing with me about Edna. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's Maybelline. Nay, Maybelline. Anyway, but I really enjoyed that. And they also brought so you got an opportunity basically to draw on an easel and draw a painting. So I drew Edna, and then later on I had a great tickle when they brought Edna back for like a second play, when she later on in the story, I was like, are they going to show us Edna again? No way. No. Yes. That was great. So I really enjoyed that, to add a little bit of creativity where you can make whatever picture you want and you can get as silly as you want with it and then claim it to be like high art. It was great. That was the highlight of the whole playthrough. However, the low light of the playthrough was episodes 10, 11, the final episodes of it. I feel quite honestly that the game dragged on a little bit longer than it should have. It overstayed its welcome. And what I mean by that is towards the end, I just really wanted, they kept throwing in more fights, and then there was a section at the end where we needed to go and talk to the students. Like, it got pretty interesting there when the students all started to disappear from the campus. That was cool. And then when you find out where they're going, you're like, ooh. And then the way you end up freeing them is basically through a like a Oprah session. I mean, basically you just kind of like just talk them down, literally, from whatever it is that they're doing, and it wasn't very enjoyable. That's the honest truth. I actually started to skip, and in fact I read all of the text, which means I'm going to take a break from doing visual novels. I'll do them rarely because there's a lot of reading. And also voice acting the different characters and that, which was fun. I had finally towards the end, I had a pretty good voice down for Colin, Alicia, and Jacob, the three main characters. And then some of the other side characters, really great. I really enjoyed the Horse Lord, whose name I'm forgetting right now. Somebody remind me in comments. He ended up playing the Horse Lord. He was a very shy character. I also loved that Alicia brought a lot of different types of students together. That was really sweet. And I loved how playing the D&D type game called CNC in this game really helped some of the characters work out their problem personalities. Speaking of problem personalities, there was one particular character, Baphomet, who was awesome. She was borderline at the beginning, like borderline. I kind of wanted to bee slap her a little bit, just borderline. Like she was pushing it, but then she ended up being part of one of the best quests I've ever played in a game. It was a very simple little quest, and it was Alicia having to go back and forth. They did not shy away from the possibility of two female students being in a crush relationship. They didn't shy away from that. I was really happy about that. The game was really good at being really inclusive for all different types of students, particularly because it was set in the 80s when I remember the 80s quite clearly. And no, there was not the kind of open-mindedness that exists today, unfortunately. So I was really thrilled, and I loved that quest. So really good job with that. I wanted to touch it with a few more things here with the game. One of the places where I also felt like the game fell down is the soundtrack. And if you, the person who wrote the soundtrack is listening to this, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, but it basically came across like, and I'm going to raise up the music in the background so you can hear what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, but it basically came across like a little child playing on a xylophone. It was very ting-tingy, and like everything sounded like, if that's maybe what they were going for, but it sounded like exactly like the Sims 2 toddlers, and when they're playing with their little toy xylophone or their little toy drum set, it sounded basically like that. I'm gonna let you hear some of it now. You see? Kind of tinny. And I actually got the soundtrack. So that is the actual MP3 files that you can get if you buy the soundtrack, the original OST on Steam for $7.99. So I bought it so that you could have I could have this in the background while I was doing the review. So the soundtrack was not that great. A few other points to make on it. Like I said, the story was really excellent until the end when it dragged on a little bit too long, but otherwise, and I kind of wish at the end, instead of like the students having to be talked down and told, like Alicia was so sweet and she had some really serious like self-doubt. So I think Alicia does need a little therapy. I'm not gonna lie on that. However, it was nice that she got to kind of talk the students back, but it'd been nice if they could have used some sort of, I don't know, some sort of magic, or like her and Jacob and Colin just like, wake up guys, or something. I don't even know what it would be, but it would be something that was more magical. This game is actually has a lot of magic in it, and I want to talk a bit about the battles here. The battles, I actually set the battles so that you couldn't lose. Like if you lost a player, you wouldn't have to start the battle over again. I highly recommend playing it that way unless you like being frustrated. Or as some people call it, a challenge. And I put that in huge quotes because for me, it would have just driven me crazy rather than being challenging. But the battles were actually pretty cute. And the characters get like special abilities just like you get. And it was like D&D light, like very light. So if you ever wanted to show your younglings what D&D is like, and maybe get them into tabletop gaming, tabletop RPGs and that kind of stuff, this is a great introductory game to D&D. It really was. And so, you know, I think one of my dreams would be to sit down with the good folks at EVC at some conference, like at PAX, whenever PAX comes back to Seattle, and let's just play a little bit of C&C or play something like it, you know what I mean? That would be a lot of fun because they really nailed the joy of tabletop gameplay and tied it into how it can really help you grow and become a better person. And Baphomet, I'm talking straight to you. So, and let's see. Now, let's finally just talk about the price. I like to talk about this based upon what I think the game should be worth for what you get. The game currently is not on sale. On Steam, it is currently $14.99. And I think it's about a $14.99 game. I have definitely called out games in the past for being way too expensive for what you get, but I think that this is a game that it would take you, and let's say if you played it with one of your little ones, a weekend, to get through, maybe 3 days, and more if you want to do it with the challenging mode. Towards the end, it actually got challenging enough that I was really glad that they gave me that option to not have to. Basically, it's called no fail mode, where if your character gets down to 1 hit point, you don't have to start over, because it would have been a lot longer and a lot more frustrating Let's Play if I had turned that feature off. And so I'm really grateful to you, EVC, for doing that. And as far as bugs, nothing really. No, it was a pretty clean, bug-free game. So just to recap before I throw out my J's along the screen here, just to recap, Wintermoor Tactics Club is a very cute game. It's absolutely worth it. If you can get it on sale at the Steam Winter Sale, definitely buy a copy if you want to have something cute to do. And it's a type of game that would translate pretty well to mobile phones and tablets. So I don't know if EVC is considering that, but it'd be a great little game to play like on your commute on the bus ride, something like that, because it can be easily stopped and started again. Alicia is wonderful. She's just wonderful. Thank you so much for making a wonderful, sweet, kind, really beautiful African-American character and making her the main character in the story. So I really appreciate that as well too. So now I think it is time, before we announce what the next game is, to give this game my final review score on it. So this game is definitely more than a 1-star game or a 1J game. Definitely more than a 2J game. 3J game, right about there. I'm going to be generous and give it 4 J's. Not 5. Just 4. And honestly, if I could have like a little bit more advanced system, I'd really give it like a 3.5. So, because it just got just a little bit tedious towards the end, and I can't really get that taste out of my mouth. And that combined with the score, which was really challenging to listen to over that ting ding ding ting, is just a bit much in my ears. And those two things are sticking with me enough that I really can't full on give it 4 or even close to 5 stars. However, I think it's got a lot of promise from EVC for what they can do next. They obviously are creative people. They're talented people. That is plainly obvious. So EVC, throw me on your press list, throw the Jessa channel on your press list, because, yeah, absolutely, I want to see what you come up with next. And on that note, what is the Jessa channel coming up with next? Take a look.
Look who it is. The stranger that came out of nowhere and now has everyone talking. Some people want you to be a savior, a shining beacon of hope. Those people clearly haven't met you yet.
Here we go! Hey there, it's a blast from the future, because I am putting this, let's try that again. I am interrupting the previous running trailer to let you know that, not gonna be doing that. I tried to play the Outer Worlds for the channel, and I produced 5 episodes, and then I could just feel that they were not working out. They were not, there was so many reasons why. And I actually played the game up until you get to the second planet. So basically the first chapter, you land on a planet, and I kind of completed that storyline and then went on to the next planet. And I looked at the Outer Worlds because it's a kind of lighthearted Fallout. I know Fallout series itself is lighthearted in a way, but it's it was more colorful. The world itself was a little bit kind of prettier, at least the greenery and vegetation and that kind of stuff. The town itself, the first town that you get to, was still pretty bleh. But I thought I could play it, and I also chose it because, like with everything with the Jessa Channel 3.0, I wanted it to be short. A short series that I could get the satisfaction of completing, and you could get the satisfaction of not having to watch 200 freaking episodes in order to get the entire experience. I played 5 episodes. I had a really cute character. Her name was, oh my goodness, Sarsaparilla Jones. She was super cute. And she was so adorable. But the content was just sort of blah. And as much as I was role-playing the character, there wasn't a lot to bounce off of. With the game. The game is not got a lot of depth to really bounce off of. So, in any case, basically, The Outer Worlds is as far as what I could produce for the channel. I do think it's a relatively fun RPG if you really just kind of like to shoot it up, and the characters, the companions are well done. Definitely good on the companions, but if you want some kind of meat to dig your teeth into as far as roleplay is concerned, or if, like me, you know, I want to voice act and develop a character along with the world, there wasn't a lot I could get out of it. So, what's up instead? Well, I'll tell you. On screen right now, you will see some pictures of someone who is much beloved on the channel, and that is Kathy. Kathy is the first star of our new Sims 2 series called Tiny Tales. These are Tiny Tales from Kettle Falls, and why I'm choosing to produce content in this way is pretty simple. Once again, I want to make series that are short, that can be completed in 5 to 10 episodes, and for The Sims, that is. And The Sims 2 is a wonderful game, but it doesn't have an ending. It goes on and on and on and on forever and ever and ever. Which is great, except when you want to have something that feels like you have a beginning, middle, and end conclusion. How do you conclude a game that doesn't end? Tiny Tales is my solution for that. It is where we will focus on one sim or family, and we will start out with kind of a story hook. In Kathy's case, it was pretty simple. What happened to Kathy's baby? She had a baby, and the baby was taken away by the social worker, and then kind of abducted in a way from the orphanage, and then is being used for nefarious purposes at the Romany caravan. And Kathy doesn't know that her beloved baby is not lost forever. He is actually right next door. How does she discover that? How does she resolve it? How does she get her baby back? Does she even manage to get her baby back? All of that is going to be answered in the first Tiny Tales series, which ended up being 7 episodes. And even when you say 7 episodes, that's not very long. But keep in mind that each episode is, 45 minutes at least to an hour, probably more. I have to go and take a look at them. I'm going to edit them today, and we will find out. But they're all a nice sizable length of episode, an hour or more is what I would say. So you get a lot of good content for that 7 series, and you don't have to worry about committing to a really long series and waiting for every episode to come out, and when does it come out next, and blah, 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 blah. So that is what's up next. Following that, I've got another game coming up that is not Sims related, and then I have another Tiny Tale starring Constable Gideon Sutton and his 2 girls, Beryl Ann and Zola Lynn. And how does the constable manage to find... There is rumors, I should say, of a crime syndicate in the gorgeous little Kettle Falls. How does the constable, the new constable, prove himself? And will he find out about this crime syndicate and be able to bring them to heel? So I'm going to take you back to the original video and my review, finishing up my review of Wintermoor Tactics Club. But I want to thank you for joining me as always. And the new Tiny Tales series starts on Monday. Enjoy.
Good luck.
Absolutely. We have up next Outer Worlds, and I'm actually going to put on some different music here. I'm going to put on the Jessa channel theme music from 80 Days, and that is linked here below. Let's put that here. I love this music. It's just fantastic. And I had to tell, I'm going to be honest with you, I really struggled with what to play next because I like to alternate the games, have like maybe a more combat focused game, then have maybe a more story focused game. I mean, all of the games that we do here on the Jessa channel are role play focused. They're voice acted, they're story focused. But, I wanted to go off and shoot some stuff after having all that reading. I just wanted to go. So, the Outer Worlds I chose because, and you guys are going to be like, seriously, Jessa, we know you hate Fallout. And that's true. I hate Fallout. However, I like Outer Worlds because it's a lot more colorful. So I don't feel like it's a world I couldn't stand to be in. It's still kind of grimy and a little bit depressing, but it's got some humor in it, and that helps keep it lighthearted. And I also was a little bit back and forth on it because it is not family friendly, which I will give a warning when the first episode goes up. So, yeah, not family friendly. But I decided to give it a pass because I felt like it was going to be a short game. I think it can be done as always with what we do here in the Jessa channel. I want the episodes to be 15 to 20 episodes, no more, for any series. And overall, I don't know, I think it's going to be fun enough that we can enjoy it and have some fun. And plus, I'm really interested in doing some role play with the characters. So I've already got a character concept ready to go and some voice acting. She's a great character. I'm really looking forward to showing you her. And I'm going to give you a little hint on her. She's a gear monkey. And I have never played someone who was like the engineer type, so I'm looking forward to that as well too. And I'm weaving that, as always, into the story. So that is my review on Wintermoor Tactics Club and what is coming up next on the Jessa channel 3.0. And, oh, by the way, here is, as always, my social media. If you liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up. And if you loved it, join the party and subscribe down there. And as always, thank you so much for watching.